So welcome to part 4 of the Self-Touch for Self-Care series. And I'll just tell you that this one's a little different than the previous ones. You're going to be sitting in a chair, and although once again you're using touch to communicate by placing your hands, in this case mainly on your legs, to feel something, what you're going to see is that forming the connection between your hand and the part of your leg that you're touching is going to be inviting all kinds of other movement, especially through your spine. And so as you move, as you touch, just see what else develops. This is one of my favorite practices for really having somewhat of a free form experience and yet really waking up the joints all throughout the body, and I think you're going to have a good time with it. Since you sit in chairs all the time, don't sit down in the beginning in any particular way. Don't sit in any kind of imitation of good posture that might exist for you. Just sit in the chair and find comfort. But once you've done that, without any sense of needing to judge or grade or qualify what you've done, just begin to observe it as if from the outside. Which side of your pelvis has more weight on the chair? And what is the unique way that each of your 2 feet connect to the floor? What might be the relationship between what you feel in your hip joints and your sense of how the solidity of the ground below you communicates through the entire length of your legs? It's worth noticing the angles of your heels and your forefeet, the feeling of space in the ankles or the knees as you sit. And just notice, where does your head sit in space over your pelvis on the chair? Does it float more over one side? All right. So now that you have a sense of this, please come to sit at the front of the chair. And this may or may not be a habitual place for you to sit, but just notice that it offers you the opportunity to more clearly connect with your skeleton. In particular, sense your sit bones. And rest your hands on top of your legs. And just notice again, how have you rested your hands? Which elbow is closer to you? Do your hands rest more to the inside of each leg, more to the outside? Just begin to look around the room, towards the ceiling, towards the floor, towards one wall or the other. Maybe you can see behind yourself. And notice as you orient that you're moving your spine, and notice that the movements of your spine change the position of your shoulders, and the changing position of your shoulders sends a message through the length of your arms and the angles of your elbows and your wrists and your fingers, and your legs feel that message. They feel it through your hands. So as you observe the space, as you point your eyes in different directions, you're steering the spine, and through the spine, the shoulders to the hands, to the legs. And then maybe you can sense how the message passes back down to the floor. And there's a kind of a loop that you can become aware of. Now, just pause, quiet yourself in whichever way you know already to quiet yourself. And now begin to move your right hand around on top of your right leg. Just go slowly. Be more interested in the sensation than the movement, at least in the beginning. But because you're interested in the sensation, find out what's the sensation of touching the inside of the leg. How is that different than the sensation that comes from touching the outside of the leg? And actually, it's many sensations, isn't it? There's a sensation that you experience through the leg. There's the sensations you experience through your hand. You could notice that without changing anything that you're doing right now, simply focusing your attention more narrowly on a particular finger or a certain point on the heel of your hand already changes the way the messages travel through the skeleton and the way you sense them. Allow your hand to go past the knee if you haven't done so already and travel in the direction of the floor. And just notice the further you reach, the more your head, of course, has to be moving forward through space in one pathway or another. And if you haven't already liberated yourself from an idea that the hand only refers to the palm of the hand, now you can begin to include the back of the hand in terms of how you think about your hand. Because of course the back of your hand can also touch your leg. And the further that you reach, the more you'll see that also your wrist can touch your leg, the inside or the outside of your elbow can touch your leg, and perhaps even your upper arm can touch your leg. As you get lower to the ground, you might continue to be interested in the surrounding space. You might look left, right, out towards the wall in front of you or down below the chair that you're sitting on. And you can just watch how these movements pass through your spine. What are you doing to make sure you're not falling out of the chair? Which part of you reaches back into the chair? Now pause for a moment, but you're just going to follow this same basic playful exploration by reaching now with your left arm. You're reaching across yourself, but still to your right leg, not your left leg. Touch your right leg with your left hand, the front of the hand, the back of the hand, the front of the leg, the back of the leg. Now, at a certain point, it becomes, you want to see everything you can do, and maybe you begin to speed up. So notice your tempo. Slow it down. Slow down the rhythm of your breathing. Let go of any necessity to feel like there's some accomplishment that you're chasing here. And then just let go, rest. And then explore the right leg with both of your hands. Both hands at the same time. But how many different ways can that be done? The hands could travel down the leg together as partners, or one hand could be traveling up the leg while the other went down, or one hand could be holding the leg in a particular place while the other hand traveled more freely. And of course, by now, if you haven't thought of it already, there's no need to keep your leg attached to the floor. You can lift your leg. You can bring it into the air. You can bend it. You can straighten it. You can place the foot more to the outside edge of the foot or to the inside by shifting the position of the knee. You can move more to the side of the chair or to the front of the chair. You can do many different things. You're just interested in how the hands and the arms, the elbows, the upper arms and shoulders can contact the leg, the thigh, the knee, the shin, the ankle, the foot, however you like. But every time you feel that maybe the excitement level takes over because you're curious. It's good to be curious, but it's good to be also aware of your tempo such that you're taking care of yourself even as you're discovering new possibilities. So leave it alone now. Leave it all alone. Of course, on your own, you can touch the left leg with the left hand and then the right hand and then both hands. But whether or not you go and do that now, just stand up and move freely through your space, however you wish. But notice the sensations and notice the feeling of how you're connected through your right arm to your right leg, how you're connected through your left arm to your right leg, and then the different relationships that you feel happening with your left leg. And see you next time.